Well, hello YouTube, and welcome back to the all-new channel 2012. I know that in recent months there's been a lot of moaning about the discontinuation of support by Microsoft for Windows XP. There's all this doom and gloom that it's going to stop working and there's going to be all these viruses after they end support. As we all know now, a month later, that was nothing more than a bunch of baloney hyped up by Microsoft to get you to buy Windows 8. But for those of you who really want to run a Microsoft-supported operating system, I found this little gem here recently. It's called Windows XP Professional POSReady 2009. And it has the unique characteristic of being supported through 2019. So you get an extra 5 years of Microsoft's blessing on this particular version of Windows XP. It's unique from what I understand, and I haven't actually tried it out here. We're going to be installing it for the first time today. But from what I understand, the most notable differences are that it's a little bit cleaned up, lightened up a little bit. It has a little bit different default theme, which actually looks pretty nice based on the screenshots that I've looked at. And the installer's also a little bit improved. For today's video, I'm going to be running through the installation process and also performing a brief demonstration of it after it's installed. We're going to go ahead and start the virtual machine. If you're wondering where you can get a copy of this, Microsoft, interestingly, has a download link to it on their site. And you can download it from there. You also need a special piece of software to finish the activation, which I have acquired as well, and we'll go through when we get to that stage of the installation. I'm also going to be timing the process from start to finish. Now this might not be a totally accurate and completely realistic timing because it's in a virtual machine, and I am also, on top of that, screen recording this, and the computer's not extremely powerful to begin with, so there may be a little bit of discrepancy there between the amount of time it takes to install in the virtual environment and the amount of time that it will take in real life. But here we are now presented with the first stage of the installer. As you can see, very different from the standard Windows XP installer. It actually gives you the graphical interface from stage 1 here. Looks like they have a few steps on the side here, and we'll go ahead and click next and see what we can do. I don't have a special answer file, so we'll go ahead and proceed with the interactive setup. And if you'll excuse me one moment while I grab my product key. And here we are. I guess without VMware tools, it won't let you copy and paste between the host operating system and the virtualized operating system. But I still was able to get the product key typed in anyway. If you're looking to set this up, this is the product key you'll need. This won't get you going 100%. There's still, from what I understand, another piece of software that needs to be installed to finish the installation, but this will get us started. Let's continue. Alright, those seem pretty agreeable to me. Alright, now we've picked a name. Let's see, now we have an option to install additional storage drivers. I'm guessing this would be helpful in the case where you have a computer with a SATA drive that's not being emulated in IDE mode. This would be a great place to install those. The virtual machine takes care of that all for us though, so we'll just continue without doing that. Got my virtualized 35 gigabyte hard drive here. We have, as you can see, a primitive hard disk manager. We'll just go ahead and let it take up the whole disk. And let's press on next. You can choose just NTFS in this case, it looks like. I don't know why it would ask for a choice if that's the only option you have. We'll leave that alone. I'll name it Windows XP. Make sure that format is a quick one so it doesn't take a lot of time. And that all looks good, so we'll continue on. Okay, looks like you get a bunch of options for different languages. I only speak English though, so that's what I'll be choosing. Alright, now at this point it gives you a couple presets. You can choose the quote-unquote typical or minimum installations. I'm going to go ahead and choose custom so we can find out what those all entail. Alright, lots of exciting stuff here. Net framework, accessories, and utilities. Okay, so this is very nice. This looks like instead of installing all that stuff for you like by default like Windows XP does, you get a bunch of choices. I'm going to keep the accessories all on there. Oh, Windows Media Player 11. That's very nice. That was always one of the great frustrations for me installing Windows XP, was that while it did put Windows Media Player on there, it was always version 9 or whatever. So it looks like out of the options I picked, it'll want to take up 942 megabytes. Okay, now we get to choose our paging file. That's nice that it makes for a longer installation process here up front, but it's nice that it asks for that stuff so you don't have to look around and figure it out later, since it's stuff that has to be set up in the beginning stages anyway. The default setting actually looks pretty agreeable, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that how it is. Computer name, we will name it computer. Okay, so this is kind of curious. It looks like it wants a password to be entered for the administrator account. There's no way around it. Okay. Alright, I'm guessing if I just leave the boxes unchecked, then it will configure that stuff automatically for me. We'll assign it to the housework group. And then it gives us a list here of everything that we configured already in the process. Since it all looks good to me, it says up here ready to install. We're going to go ahead and press install. Alright, wow, we're just a minute and a half into the installation and it's all ready for the first restart. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with that. Let's see what it does. Alright, and here we are after yet again another sudden restart. We're about 22 minutes into the setup here. This has got to be the second or third, maybe even the fourth restart this time around. I lost count. Alright, finally, looks like it's doing something here. And at last, we are on the login screen here. Looks like we also get a little on-screen keyboard here if we desire to use that. Okay. Let's go ahead and sign in. Interestingly, it does have a slightly different banner here that it puts above the login and when it's trying to tell you stuff than stock XP does. Oh, but I do hear the same old Windows XP login music. Alright, and this is the part where we get that cool default theme that it comes with. And here we are at the desktop with the start menu open, and from the moment when I clicked install to the time when we got here has been about 24.5 minutes. Not too bad. I wish I remember how long it took to set up plain old regular XP Pro on this computer in a virtual machine environment, so I'd have something to compare it to, but I don't. But it felt pretty quick to me. Going back to the theme, it does resemble the Windows XP Royale theme a little bit. Looks like there's a number of other themes here. Let's see, this one's called POSReady Small Logo, and there's also POSReady Large Logo and POSReady. Let's try those and see how they look. Okay, as nice as they do look, the resolution of those doesn't look all that great. It looks like Windows Update is already prompting to do some updates here. Let's see. Let's see what that third theme looks like here. Okay, that one looks like, again, the same theme, just with a slightly different wallpaper. I'm going to go ahead and keep this second one. That was my favorite. And here we are. Let's go into my computer and see how much disk space that used. Looks like that bare clean install there cost us a little over 2.5 gigabytes of hard disk space. Not too bad. Alright, now I'm going to pause the video real quick. I'm going to go through and adjust several settings. I'm going to try to install some things, and we'll see how this works here. And here we are, several hours later, and after over 100 Windows updates. Looks like this, while it is XP Service Pack 3, comes with basically none of the updates, so there was a ton of those that I had to install. In the break, I also installed VMware Tools, I installed Firefox, I got Internet Explorer up to date, Acrobat Reader, I installed Flash Player for both the browsers. Here's the system properties window I've got up in case anyone was wondering what that looked like. Tweaked some things and got everything set up more or less to how I like it. Everything appears to be fully functional here as far as I can tell. Now, a few installation notes. You might have recalled earlier when there was some text down here. When you see that, that means that the Windows time bomb has been activated, and in this operating system by default it is enabled to 1 year from the date of installation. I don't know what happens when you reach that point, and I didn't want to find out, so I found software called TweakNT, and that will let you remove the time bomb. As you can see here, I've already done that before. It did say over here expires in 365 days, and this area over here was different. All I had to do was check remove, click apply, and restart the virtual machine, and everything was just fine. Another thing worth mentioning is that I'd seen some people mention that Office 2007 and 2010 for some reason wouldn't install on here, but on the contrary, I found I didn't have any problems with those. Actually, I got Office 2010 installed without a hitch, and it runs and works just fine. As you can see here, I got Word and Excel up for demonstration, and there's no problems within them at all. In fact, in this minimal setup, the only thing I did have issues with was a Flash Player for some reason. I still don't know why, but when I went to the official Macromedia Flash Player website and downloaded the standalone installer there, it would get to, after launching it, it would get to halfway to the 50% mark, and then it would say failed to initialize. It did this for both the Internet Explorer and Firefox version, and I still don't know why. As you can see here, I was able to get around that, and all I had to do was basically load a page with a Flash object in it, and then Firefox would pop up the little thing that says, oh, you need a plugin to view this, and then you just press install Flash and let the Firefox guide take you through there, and it would work just fine. And so Flash Player is now installed in Firefox. Internet Explorer was the exact same thing. Like I mentioned before, the standalone installer wasn't able to do it, and all I had to do again was navigate to a page with a Flash Player object on it, and it popped up a box saying, do you want to install this? And then I clicked install, and it worked the exact same way as Firefox. I'd say the bottom line here is, if you're really afraid of the Windows XP end of support doomsday, and it really gives you a warm fuzzy feeling inside to have a quote-unquote supported operating system, then Windows XP Embedded POSReady 2009 may just be for you. As far as I can tell, that pretty much covers everything there is to say about Windows XP Embedded POSReady 2009. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here. And there you have it, Windows XP POSReady 2009. I hope you found today's video entertaining and informative, and be sure to stay tuned to the all-new Channel 2012 for the latest in reviews, guides, food, computers, general around the house, and other high-quality, high-definition uploads. Thanks for watching.